I can destroy the players? I gotta run this code, right? What? How did they know? All right, so I know this is gonna sound bad, but I've always been a fan of deceiving and tricking people. You know, just lying to people. You know, I find that quite fun. As a matter of fact, I lied just now. That's not something that I enjoy doing. So I actually enjoyed lying to you there. I think that's like a little paradox. Like if I say that I enjoy lying, but then I lie when I say that, then it's like true, but it's also not true. So you'll have to figure that one out. Now, in the past, I've made some videos where I made fake versions of real things. Like for example, the kick message, right? When you get kicked, it shows you a little box, right? If I kick my player right now, I don't think it's gonna show me anything. I mean, I could try. If I just say game.players.the original lamp kick, and then I just give it kicked or something like that, I don't think it's gonna show me anything. Yeah, it doesn't show me a message. But in a real game, you would see a box that says, oh, disconnected, you were kicked from this experience for some sort of reason, and then there's an error code. I've seen the comments. I know I forgot the error code in my fake warning video. I get it. And then you would then click the button that would make you leave the game, right? So I made a fake version of that, and then I just basically scared players and said, oh, I know your location or something like that. And it was kind of fun, right? Now, you know, I wouldn't dare do that again. Like I wouldn't dare to trick players again and show them something that isn't actually true. And you know, oh, why did the developer console just pop up? Interesting. Okay, I mean, let me close that. Okay. Oh, what is this? Oh, the developer console. Oh, I mean, I must type something. Hello. Oh, nothing's happening. I wonder why. So this is a replica of the developer console that I made in like 10 minutes before starting this video. I haven't actually scripted anything. As a matter of fact, the only thing that's scripted is that whenever I press the E key on my keyboard, it just toggles this like so. So yeah, so obviously I needed to script that in so that we can actually like, you know, see the developer console. Now, for reference, this is how the initial console looks like. It looks a bit different, but let me just explain myself a little bit. So yeah, as you can see, we got it says developer console. It has this, you know, X close button right here. And if I were to enable this on the server, we could actually input commands. So for example, I could say something like print hello, right? And then if I enter this, it would actually print hello. So this is a real console that actually does stuff. Now, why is this window important for those who don't know? Well, effectively, this is the thing that lets you input commands, right? And commands is effectively code that handles the entire game. For example, what if I say something like while task wait, do, and then I just create a brand new part, right? And then I parent it to the workspace. So if I run this, look what's gonna happen now. Look, what if some random player in your game just had access to that console? What if they just typed that in? And now this happened in your game. Obviously, we don't want that. I mean, you know, that would be really funny, but obviously that's not something that we want as developers, or maybe even players. Like, I'm sure that if some player kept doing this in like some game that you like to play, maybe it would be kind of funny initially, like, oh, you know, that's funny, you know, they hacked the game. But like on the third or fourth time, you'd be like, okay, bro, like that's enough. Like I want to play my game now. Now, Roblox understands this, and what it does is it basically doesn't let a single player besides the creator of the game. So I can access this as the creator of this game. If some other player were to play this, they would not be able to input any commands to the server at all. The only commands the server would listen to are the script that I myself as the developer would add inside of the game. So if some exploiter tried to input his own lines of code, he actually wouldn't be able to do anything. The only way he would be able to do anything with the game is if my game is like poorly coded, and then he installs some like script injector, then he writes some code like on the client, which if in case you don't know, what this effectively means is like if I make a parts, for example, on the client, right? So if I do something like this makes a part in the workspace, but only that my player can see. If I switch to the server, as in the real game, there is no part, right? So I can write code that's only true for my player and not the actual game. And like I said, if the game like is poorly made, then there might be a security flaw where I could give the game some information as a player, which the game would then turn into real information, which other players would be able to actually see, right? I know I'm yapping a lot right now, but my whole point here is that this is something that's incredibly powerful. If some sort of exploiter was able to even just write one line of code, just one line of code into the server, the amount of damage that could be caused is insane. For example, let's take some big game, let's say Adopt Me, right? If some exploiter was able to write even just one line of code from the server, he could literally kill the entire game. He could delete all data, and I'm sure they have like some data backups or whatever, but he could delete all data, he could delete all of the maps, He could make servers basically unplayable. He could just do a bunch of stuff. He could mess with the game in such a way that no one has seen before. So if you see this window pop up, or something that resembles this window, because obviously, you know, in the heat of the moment, you aren't really able to tell, you get a little excited. If you see this just pop up randomly, and you see this command line bar, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't that just make you go a little like, oh, interesting. Okay, well, I guess let me type some code in then. Now, a good and honest player who enjoys the game and has respect for the game and me as the developer would say, oh, that's weird. Oh, let me close this, right? So, you know, if they close it, fair enough. They'll close the window, it'll never pop up for them again, and their gameplay will be perfect. But what if some cheeky guy says, oh, well, let me input some code then. You know, let me write some code that maybe will give me a bunch of coins, or maybe will spawn a bunch of parts, or will, oh, what if I kick everyone? What if I say game layers.the original lamp kick? You know, what if I want to kick every single player in the game? Well, then what if, instead of letting them do whatever they want, what if we just troll them instead? Because this isn't the real console. I mean, I told you this before, but this is my console. I made this. So I could do literally anything with whatever input that they provide over here. Now, first, we'd have to actually script some of the panel in order for it to work. Now, don't worry, no boring scripting. I'm not going to be sitting here like, okay, now type A. I don't do that stuff. I know like some old like Roblox scripting tutorials, they do that. I used to watch them, bro, like 2 years ago. I was like 16 or something. I'd be watching those tutorials and that'd be so boring. It was just so annoying. But yeah, the reason I'm showing you this, right? Because this was something that I could script myself, and I did, right? Like, so for this toggle code, I wrote this code myself without actually really showing or explaining it to you beforehand, you know, because I just needed this to work. But the main reason here is to show you how this thing actually works, right? To show you exactly, well, number one, what my goal with this console is, because I'll be honest, I don't even have a set idea of how we're gonna mess with players here. I have some ideas, but, you know, they're gonna develop as we go. But the goal is to bring this console to life. So how would we do something like that? Now, the very first thing that I think we need to script is this close button, because believe it or not, as of right now, this does nothing, right? I know earlier I did a thing where like I hovered my mouse over here and like it closed, but I just pressed the toggle key when I did that. If I actually click it right now, which is what I'm doing, nothing's happening. So what I'm thinking is, if the player happens to press the close button, so if I say script.parent.activated connect function, which just means that, oh yeah, the button was actually pressed, I'm thinking that means that the player passed the test. It means that the player is loyal to me or the game, I don't know. And the player doesn't want to hack and doesn't want to exploit. And for that, I'm going to say, thank you, you know, yeah. And so for that player, obviously we don't want to mess with them, right? So we just want to say, okay, great, amazing, you passed the test, and we're just going to remove this console for them forever. So what we can do then is we can just take this fake panel thing. So it's going to be quite a journey to get to it, but we would have to say script.parent. So this would be the close button. So I'd say script.parent, then the parent of the close button, which is the top bar. So that's another parent.parent. Then the parent of the top bar is the mainframe. So .parent. So now this is the mainframe. Then the parent of the mainframe is finally the fake panel. So another .parent. So 4 parents, and now we're finally at the fake panel. And we can ensure that this is an actual screen GUI, because screen GUIs have this property called ignore GUI inset. So if I say ignore, yeah, see, so because it autofills, that means that this is the correct thing. So what I can do here is I can just say destroy. I'm literally just going to destroy the user interface. Now this will only destroy it for the player who pressed the close button. Other players will still see theirs unless they also close, right? So if I say close, there we go. Close. And so if I go to my player GUI, yeah, we have the free cam, which is like a default Roblox thing. But yeah, we don't actually see the user interface here. So it's gone now, right? Amazing. Then we have this text over here, client memory usage and average ping. You may actually notice that this is yellow and this is white. And I'm actually quite proud of how this looks. So no, this isn't like two separate texts. Like this is all one text. I basically, like, I'll be honest, I looked up how to get multicolored text. And apparently what I had to do was I had to enable rich text. And I had to do something like this where like I say font something, and then like, yeah, I had to give it the hex code of the color that I wanted. So I literally just looked up yellow hex code and I just got something like this. And the reason that this is important is because I want to change these two texts, right? In a real console, the ping would be changing because ping always changes, right? In a real console, the client memory usage would be hovering, from my experience, it's somewhere between like 2,400 to 2,700. Now you might be wondering, oh, what is this, right? I'll be real, I'm not exactly exactly sure. I know what memory is, like I understand how this functions. I don't know why the number is the way that it is. I simply know what the number tends to be when I enable the console. So what I'm thinking then is, to make this more realistic, how about every like 2-3 seconds, we just update this value to be some random number between, like I said, 2400 or 2700. So the way that I could do this is I could say while task waits, and then I want to wait anywhere between, yeah, let's say 2 or 3 seconds. So I could say math.random to 3. Or actually, maybe I'll make this a 1 just to make it a bit like faster. And so then I could just say local random num is going to be, again, math.random. And again, yeah, 2400, 2700. And then we simply have to change the text so that everything is the same, except this number is just equal to this random num. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll copy this text, which again, I'll be real, I just copy this from like some random website that I found online. But then yeah, script.parent.text is equal to this. Yeah, there we go. So everything's right. But except I just have to ensure that this is equal to this variable. And I can do this by adding these 2 dots, like so. 2 dots, and then I separate them like so. Yep, there we go. And then I just replace this with random now. Random. So let's just see how this plays out, right? So if I play the game, okay, and then, yep, look at that. That's very realistic. I really like that. All right, the last one we have here is ping, which, again, a very simple thing to add. We simply just need to detect, like, how long it takes between every single frame, and then just, again, replace this value with the value that we get. Now, we could just randomize this number, but I feel like it would be a lot more fun to actually get the real ping of the player. Now, I just want to do this kind of for fun and, like, to show you how stuff like this is done, but also, more people know what ping means than client memory. For example, a guy could know that his ping is usually pretty high. Like maybe some guy plays in some country where like the internet is very bad, right? And like the game always lags. And then if this window opens up and it says that his ping is like 20 or something, which is very good, he'd be like, oh, that's wrong. My ping is usually like 200, right? So we have to reflect the real ping. So what I'll do is I'll make a loop that plays every second. So every second, we're gonna update this value. And the way that I'm gonna get the ping in milliseconds is on the top, I'm gonna say game, run service, render stepped, connect function, which effectively is a way for us to know when a new frame happens. This will give us this thing called delta time, which is the time in between the last frame. So this is exactly what we need, right? Now, because this is in milliseconds, in case you don't know, a millisecond is effectively, I believe, 1,000th of a second. So we simply have to take this delta time and just times it by 1,000. And because we actually want to like get this value and use it over here, I can just make a variable here. So I'll call this local delta, and I'll just say delta is equal to delta time. There we go. Now by default, I'll set delta to be 44, you know, just to have like a default number in case something messes up. And actually something that I realized is delta time is never rounded. So we actually have to round this. So I'll just copy this and I'll say math.floor, and there we go. So floor is just going to round it down to the nearest whole number. And yeah, there we go. So I could just do the same exact thing where I copy the text and then I say script.parent.text is equal to whatever this is supposed to be. Yeah, and then again, we separate these with 2 dots like so. And then I say delta. There we go. So let's check this out. If I play the game right now, this should reflect my real ping. 16, 18. Damn, my ping is high. Holy, I just used 20 as like a good example, but damn, that's actually pretty cool. 16 ping. That's insane. 10, did you see that? It said 10. I have the best internet known to man, I guess. Now, this is a small thing, but I'm gonna add this over here real quick, just so it updates immediately, because when I played it, it said 44 just for like the first second. And if I do this, it should immediately update the ping. Let's see. Ah, it doesn't. Okay, well, it's fine, whatever. Actually, wait, yeah, no, it is fine, because initially, we're not even gonna see this, right? But it's gonna actually be updating. So if I, let's say, play the game and then I toggle it on, yeah, so the ping is already fine, right? There we go. Look at that. Yeah, 16 milliseconds is crazy. So, okay. The close button now works. These texts now work. What do we do with the command bar? All right, how about this? I got a brilliant idea. So initially what I was gonna do, which I realize now is stupid, and you're gonna see why it's stupid in a bit, right? But I was gonna have the player input some code and then effectively check whether that code is real code or not, right? So let's say if the player just enters like 1, 2, 3 or something like that, that's not actual code. Like if I type in 1, 2, 3, that's not code. Like it doesn't do anything, right? So then I would like give a warning that says like, oh, you know, error, you know, your code doesn't doesn't work. You know, it makes it seem more real. And so then the player's like, oh damn, I gotta write real code. And it's kind of hype because it's like, oh, this is the real developer console. And what I was gonna do is I was gonna run their code on the server and then check if that code would produce an error. But the issue here is that if it didn't produce an error, the code would run on the server. So this actually would make their code run on the server, which effectively bypasses the whole idea of this being like a fake thing that, like, you know, tricks hackers or whatever. So instead, here's what I'm thinking. Whenever the player interacts with this, so whenever the player clicks on this, what if I just pop up a random command? So for example, what if the player clicks on this and automatically it just says, okay, game.players, get all players, kick. Like, what if it kicks all players? Or what if it automatically shuts down the game? Or what if it automatically grants the player amazing rewards? Or, I don't know, gives the player super speed or something like that. I'm just gonna rename this to the terminal. There we go. So yeah, we get the terminal script. And I'm actually curious, can we see touch tab? I don't wanna, wait, mouse enter fires when a user moves their mouse into a GUI element. How can it detect it when it actually begins? Like, oh, I think I found something. Fires when the text box gains focus. So I assume focus is when, like, when you click on it and then you're able to type stuff. Okay, so script.parent focused connect function. Okay, there we go. Now let's just try this out for fun. Script.parent.text is then going to be equal to game.players gets players kick. Now, just in case you don't know, this isn't like a real line of code. Like, if I actually try this, like if I try to do this, get players, like I can't do anything, right? We'd have to make a loop and then go through every player and then kick them like this. I'm just kind of showing you this just for fun, right? So let's just see this. If I run the game and if we click now, yep, there we go. Look at that. That is cool. Yeah, but I still have the problem with the fact that we were using focused, so that, like, if the player taps again, it doesn't switch. Like, I don't know why. I just feel like it'd be cooler if, like, upon every click, it would, like, change to a random powerful line of code to give the player, like, you know, to give the player the illusion that, like, oh wow, there's so much amazing power here, right? To make them really feel in control, and then we just completely strip that away from them. All right, but obviously we don't want it to just be this dumb code, because what if there's an actual programmer that sees this and goes, wait a second, that's not a real line of code, and then he just goes, oh yeah, this was an obvious joke. So then we obviously need a real line of code. But another thing that I'm thinking as well is we need something that makes it clear that this is going to benefit the player in some way. So even for example, what if I can get the player, so I'll say local player game players local player, like so. What if I do something like workspace game.players, and then we put our name in there, so player name, then I'll say .character.humanoid.walk speed is equal to 100. So in other words, when we gain the focus, game.players, the original lamp, character, humanoid, walk speed equals 100. That's cool. Because again, if we actually run this as real code, we're going to be this fast, right? That's pretty quick. So a player could see that and go like, oh damn, like Zam, you know, I'm gonna I really want to input this command. We could legitimately just have a table of all the prompts. All prompts. I don't know, we could just have like just a bunch of fun with this, right? We could have this, right? Then we could have game destroy, or maybe no, workspace destroy. I think that'd be more believable. Game players destroy. I don't know what it is about destroying. I just think it just gives people a sense of power, which is kind of fun. Game.lighting.clock time is equal to 0. There we go. So this would actually set the time to be night, which in certain games you can't do that, right? So that would be a cool little thing, because if the player sees that and goes like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. There's also this thing called game, I believe, bind to close. Now this is something that I don't believe this shuts down the server. I believe it simply just runs code before the server shuts down. Like, I don't think there's an actual command to shut down the server. But again, like I said, it seems like it might do something, right? And the thing is, this is real code, right? So like a developer wouldn't be confused if they saw this. And then another one, just to make it more fun, we could say, I hate typing when like it doesn't autofill, so let me actually do it here. Instance.new explosion, right? So we'll parent that to the workspace, and then we'll say dot position is equal to, and then I guess we could position it like at our player. So we can say, yeah, this is where I would have to place it back in here. So instance.new explosion, but I would have to use different quotations because we are already using the quotations for the explosion. Position is equal to, yeah, and I'm just gonna copy this. There we go. Game players, player name, character, dot head. There we go. So what we could do is we could just say, okay, pick a random one from this list. And we can do that by saying all prompts from 1 to the number of items inside of all prompts. There we go. All right, no, math.random. There we go. Math.random 1 to the maximum number being all of them, right? So let's see how this would play out. I focus. Okay. 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 I want to see one with my name again. Bind to close. Yep, there we go. Now, by this point, the player has all the reason in the world to actually click, right? To click enter, I mean, because they're like, oh, I can, wow, I can destroy the workspace, or I can change my walk speed. So what would they do? They'd probably hit enter. They'd hit enter. Now, when you hit enter, the focus gets lost, and we can actually detect in a script when this happens. So I could say script parent focus lost connect function, and then it's going to give me a value called enter pressed, which will be true or false depending on whether enter was pressed to end the focus. So I can say enter pressed. I'll say if not enter pressed, then return end. So if enter wasn't pressed, then we'll just end the function. Now, if enter was pressed, what do we do? What do you think? How should we freak out some kid who thinks he's about to hack the entire game? I think honestly do the good old tell them we know where they live trick, and then just delete this console and just never bring it up ever again. So here's what I'm thinking, right? So I can make text over here, right? I could make it incredibly bold. Text scaled. Well, yeah, obviously make it scaled. I want it to be big and fat so that players know that they've messed up. Yeah, I'm gonna add some padding to this text just so it doesn't get too out of bounds. But then yeah, and then we could just say like, yeah, you live in America, and then it just disappears completely. Or maybe no, you know what we could do? So wait. System compromised. System compromised. We need a scarier font, bro. This isn't cutting it. Wait, okay, what's a scary font? No, that just looks bad. I need something that looks legit, something that actually looks like it would be used like, no, not this sci-fi movie. Yeah. Obviously not using that. That'd be so funny. Ooh, maybe this actually. This looks fairly legit. Like I wouldn't be surprised if I actually saw this. Now I'm actually curious. Wait, if I have more text, how is it gonna look? Okay, it looks fine. Good. Oh my god, this will be so fun. Okay, so initially it's invisible, right? Then here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get the text label. Actually, I'll get a variable for this. I'm gonna get the main frame because that's what we need. So terminal script would say local scary text is equal to script.parent. So again, script.parent, which is the main frame, wait for child text label. There we go. So then I'll say scary text dot visible is equal to true. Now another thing actually real quick before I finish this is I only want this to happen once, right? So I'll just say once. There we go. Just a little thing, because if the player keeps like pressing enter, it might kind of mess up the code a bit. So let's just do it this way. So yeah, scary text dot visible is equal to true. Then what I'll do is I'm gonna say task wait, and we're gonna wait maybe like 1.5 seconds, and then we can do something like you live in your country, and then like half a second later it just all disappears. That'd be really funny. Now you might be wondering, well, how do we get the player's country then, right? How is that something that we can do? Well, just like in my previous fake warning video, I found a script online. So I'm actually on my phone right now, but if I copy it on my phone, I have a MacBook, and Apple devices have this really neat feature where if I copy something on my phone, it should paste on my MacBook. There we go. Yeah, so all credits to his username is QLostful. He actually left a comment on my other video, and he said, oh, that's cool. Like, it's cool they used my code. So he's okay with it, right? So, and Ethan, if you're seeing this, hello. But this effectively is code that goes to some website and transforms information about the player's like country code into the name of the actual country. So for example, if I were to play this right now, this should say Canada. Go to game settings and I'll, right. Yeah, Roblox wants me to make this into a real published game to allow HTTP requests. Here's a little life hack for you. You could just do it here. HTTP enabled is true. There we go. I don't know why it doesn't just let you do this automatically. Like, it forces you to save the game. Look, please save to Roblox. But then you could just do it here without saving. It's so stupid. But yeah, if I play the game right now, it should work. Or maybe not. Sometimes it has little issues. Yeah, there we go. Canada. Nice. And so what we can do here is we could use this thing called a remote function, which effectively will send a message to the server. The server will then do like the calculation, say, oh yeah, the player lives here, here's his country code, and then send that information back. So I could say local player country is equal to game replicated storage, wait for child remote function, and then yeah, it's been a while since I used these. Invoke server. Yep, there we go. And so on the script, we can say game replicated storage dot remote function on server invoke. Okay, yeah. So when I did it the other way, where I tried to like connect it, it didn't work. Apparently, you have to do it like this, which is stupid, but this works. So I guess we're just gonna roll with that. But yeah, effectively here, what we can do is this. So we could copy this code, right? We can do it this way, where we could say, oh yeah, give it the PLR like so. If success and code, then we're going to return this. We're going to return country's code. And when it returns, it's going to make this variable equal whatever this function returns, which should be the player's country. And I'm actually going to do this over here because sometimes it like needs a bit of time to load. So, you know, we're going to let it do that. So after the 0.5 seconds, I'll say if not player country. So if we just can't find the player country, then we're just going to effectively destroy this fake pen. So I'll just say game.player dot players, local player, player GUI, wait for child fake panel, destroy, and then we're gonna return. So we're gonna just stop the function and end. But otherwise, if we do have the player country, well then we could just say scary text dot text is equal to you live in player country. There we go. Then we just say task dot wait, like 0.5 seconds, and then we do this. So then we can do it like so. Yeah. Return. Or we don't actually even need to return. We can just do it like this. There we go. Let's try this out. I'm curious. Nice day, walking around, you know, enjoying the game. Oh, what is this? Oh, did you see my ping of 8 milliseconds? All the huzz seeing this? Whatever. Okay, click here. Oh, I can destroy the players. Wow, that sounds cool. Oh, but I don't know if maybe I, you know what? I'll do it. System compromised? What? No, 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 I gotta go. I gotta leave. I gotta tell my mom. I'm afraid. I'll make it stay on screen a bit more. A little bit more. Let's see. System comp. Oh my god. This is amazing, man. Oh man, system compromise, like what? And then you take your eyes. Oh, you live in. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. You know what we also need to do? I just realized we have to make it so that the player can't actually close the developer console. So yeah, what I can do is I can say script.parent, which is the terminal.parent, which is the mainframe. Then yeah, wait for child top bar, wait for child close button, and then I believe it's something like active. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So dot active. There we go. Is equal to false. So once this starts, we can't go back at all. Let me try. Yeah, I can't close it. I can't close it. Oh, that is so nice. That is nice. I really like that. And so to fully seal the deal, to just get this done with once and for all, instead of toggling this thing, we could just say like, oh yeah, whenever a player just joins the game, we can just wait like 10 seconds or something, and then we can say script.parent.enabled is true. Or, you know, whenever you want, you know, if you actually choose to add this in your game, which I really hope someone does. But, you know, if you add something like this to your game, you know, you might have your own like place where you want to put it. But if I just play the game right now, you know, oh yeah, ignore that. Oh yeah. Oh, nice game. Look at that. Oh yeah, I love the base plate. I'm having so much fun, you know? And then I walk around a little bit more and oh, what is this? The developer console. Oh, well, the ping looks legit. I mean, this is the ping that I usually get, you know? My internet is just amazing. Command line, what? I can destroy the players? I can do that? Okay, I mean, I gotta run this code, right? What? How did they know? I'm terrified. And I'm gonna leave the game now, obviously, and never come back. So yeah, there we go. There's our fake panel. Honestly, I had a lot of fun making this, man. This is amazing. I started the video with this, and that was a lie, you know? But I love to trick and deceive people. Of course, that's a lie. I would never do that, right? But it is pretty fun. Now, of course, with each video, I gotta delete this. There we go. It is now officially gone. Well, it's not really gone, because I could just bring it back with Control Z. But, you know, let's pretend it's gone, because when I close this, it's gonna be gone for good. Now, right before the video ends, because when the video ends, when I close this down, everything is gonna be gone forever. So we might catch up just a little bit. What I just made here was fake, right? So I made a little fake, what was it, console panel. But you know what isn't fake though? Look, this is the last thing that you care about. Like I bet that when you wake up, this is not what's on your mind. But if you check the subscriber count on the channel, isn't it awfully close to 100,000? It is, right? It's like 94, 95, something like that. And it's crazy to me to think that I began this channel a year ago, still in high school, and it's nearly at 100K. That's like a whole silver play button very soon, right? So, you know, sorry to ask so much of you, but if you could subscribe, that actually would mean quite a lot. Because, bro, 5K subscribers away from a real physical object. I don't even know what to do with it. Like, people usually place it on their wall, but, like, I don't really, like, know how to do that. Like, I'm sure I could figure it out if I wanted to, but I'd probably just have it, like, on my desk or something, so I could just, like, look at it. Or maybe my bed. Not to sleep with, but just to kind of have it there, just because it would look kind of cool, you know? But yeah, what else? Because I can't be a good YouTuber if I don't promote everything, right? I got a $30 course on Roblox Studio in the description and the pinned comment. I actually had interesting thing. I read a comment recently of this kid. He said he was 13. I say kid, I'm like 18, right? So I'm not that far off. But like, he said he's 13. He's like, oh man, like I'm saving, and it was very nice to me. And I was like, I don't know, a guy who's 13, you know, saving like his $30 to buy the course. It's cool, you know. And like I've had people like message me on Discord and even sometimes on email or like with YouTube comments and say, hey man, you know, I actually really like the course, really nice, learned a lot, and you know, I was tired of the tutorials. So like again, I'm just saying this because some people like are wondering like, oh, what's the point of a course if you could just just learn everything online. And you could, but I'm telling you, I started learning this stuff like 2-3 years ago. It's so stupid, bro. It's so dumb because everyone has their own little different way of teaching, and you're always gonna have your own different problems. And I always just wanted a firm package from a guy, that sounds weird, but I wanted a full series of videos from someone who I trust, right? Who I know knows what he's talking about, who can actually fully teach me Roblox Studio. Not some nerd who says, oh, here's how you optimize the code to 100% efficiency. You have to use, I don't even know, metatable, and you have to set, like, nothing like that. Just some guy that teaches you and says, hey, here's how you do whatever you want to do. That's it, right? No complex nerd stuff, no stupid long coding, just some guy that says, hey, here's how you learn pretty much anything. And I think that my course does exactly that, because that's exactly who I made it in mind for, myself 2 years ago. But yeah, that aside, I got an Instagram and my podcast linked there as well, so you can go check that out. Like, share, and subscribe, obviously, you know, I have to say that. And as always, we're back to basics. Thank you for watching.